Nava, come here, baby. Come here. Are you a hot dog? Do you need a giant bun? You like being out in the sun. You're from the desert. Yeah, good girl. Well, here is the $500 Turbo Car Challenge Beast. Still running great. What's up, baby? And I know I haven't made a Patreon update in a while, so I figured I would get around to doing that. I just want to tell you where I'm at. The $500 Turbo Car Challenge ended recently. This went pretty well. I didn't get quite as far as I would like. I still need to fix the O2 sensor, which is basically what I'm tackling today. I also finally got hopefully the right size alternator belt, so that's not going to be incorrect. I just got an oil pressure sender for it, which was like $8 or whatever to fix the main oil leak, and also so I can put in my oil pressure gauge while I'm under there. And then this thing will mostly be buttoned up. Hopefully the air-fuel ratio gauge will work so I know that I can beat on it safely. I still have to do the fuel mods too then. No big deal. All that's technically low priority now, but I do want to do that before I really work hard on the GSX, because if I don't, it'll probably never get done. And with some fuel mods and the air-fuel gauge working, this should basically be a beast. It pulls super hard. Like, I don't know, it's so much fun, and I'm going to release some more videos on it. If any of you guys on Patreon want to see some rips in this or something like that, I could totally take a quick video of that for you, although there will be more on it coming soon on the main channel. So that's where I'm at with that. If you're wondering what I've been doing the last week, basically, since the challenge ended, well, actually, my dad just picked up that car out there. It is a 2006 Outback, and we got a hell of a deal on it. It was only $850, his money, obviously, not mine. Needed a front brake caliper, rotor, and pads, and it needed a rear sway bar link, and it needs a tire. But like, it's a car that books for like over three to $4,000. So he got a really, really good deal. We're hoping it's going to be a good rig for him because his previous Forester is kind of falling apart. So I was basically doing all the work on that, helping him out, and that's mostly what I've been busy with. And then we did just get the brake parts for my mom's 97 Impreza Outback Sport, because I was supposed to drive that to Wicked Big Meat, and then I ended up having to take the 93 Impreza, Old Faithful, reliable, because one of the front brake calipers locked up. So I bought all the parts to rebuild that caliper, because that was only like $15 instead of like 50 plus for a new caliper. So that's life. And then basically the next focus, as soon as I get this done, sort of buttoned up, if you will, the new O2 sensor, air fuel working, make sure that it's not running lean. I mean, honestly, if it doesn't need fuel mods, I might not do them, but I do have the pump and regulator anyways. And then I bought a new fitting to go on the rail, so I don't have to deal with the big pain in the butt of modifying the one that comes with the cheap kit. I don't know. This thing is a lot of fun. It's really quick, depending on how much I like it. Later down the road, I am going to get a smaller radiator, turn the intercooler pipes down, and fit this one in the bay so that it all actually tucks. I'll be able to put the hood back on and just make a bump for the turbo. That would be pretty sweet. The hood, the Don't hood made by Steven from Cars Simplified, is sitting right out here. It is pretty classic, and I do think cutting a hole in it right there for the turbo to stick out, and a big arrow right there that says Don't, I think that would be, or a big arrow from the Don't to the turbo, I think that would be pretty wonderful. But then, of course, my next main priority is the GSX here, which I have done a little bit too. The video is not out yet, but we did replace the slave cylinder on it, which I thought was the only thing it needed to get moving, which technically it should have been. But unfortunately, the master cylinder is no good too, which makes sense because it's sat with the clutch pedal down, and that's tucked back away in there. Some kind of loud redneck truck going by, but got to replace that master cylinder. Hopefully going to do that later today and get that bled up, and then this should be ready to move, and I'm hoping to do a big feature video on that. It'll be the first time it's moved in almost 5 years, and then we'll be able to actually pull that in the garage, get working on welding, and I have a big surprise coming for this rig. So y'all may know that the radiator on this is not exactly primo. It has a broken inlet, and I bought some like stainless steel tubing to sleeve it and epoxy it, and I was just going to rock that. But if I'm going to take this thing to Ohio, it needs to be reliable too, which obviously needs a lot of work. I have about a month and a week left, so 5 weeks to get this thing ready to drive. I think it's like 600 miles or something like that there, and then same amount back, plus I'll be driving it around all up there, hopefully. So I am hoping to make it reliable, but I guess my little secret is that I spent about $430 on cooling parts for this car, except I got $200 off, which is the only reason I did it, and I put it on PayPal credit so I don't have to worry about it until January. But yeah, I actually got myself a Mishimoto X-Line radiator and the Mishimoto silicone hoses, so this thing is going to have a premium radiator. I am pretty psyched about it, even though it's really expensive parts for this car that's kind of junky. But yeah, I am super hyped to get working on this. I'm hoping to make some really fun videos on that. Obviously still needs a little vacuuming up here as well. Interesting that it says airbag on the VIN. I don't really get that. But anyway, the little VIN plate there. Still have to de-rice it, get rid of the stickers. I'm just going to be so happy when this thing finally moves again. Hopefully the brakes don't give me any major troubles. And yeah, so I have maybe, just a couple more days of work to do on this thing, but I'm still going to be working on the GSX in the meantime because I'm still waiting on a couple little parts. And my total budget, even with the little fuel rail outlet I bought, and then I did get one other mod. Oh yeah, I bought a MAF adapter so that I can actually secure the air filter properly. I love this air filter. So, such a classic. My little MAF adapter to actually secure this properly so that I'll be able to clamp it on. I didn't buy anything to fix that because that is a silicone hose tucked inside of the factory hose. The clamps on it, but I am just going to sink that in further and then it'll clamp down onto the MAF properly. And yes, that MAF sucks, but for right now, it's obviously working fine and I don't need to do a conversion, so I'm not gonna. But yeah, my total spend, even with those two little parts, even after I do the fuel mods, is still going to be just a hair over $500 to get this thing fully turbocharged, not including the maintenance parts. But even that, I've only spent a little bit, and yes, it does technically need axles and some suspension bits and blah, blah, blah. We're not doing any of that. And it's just a riot. This car is hilarious. I mean, if you have it at like 3,000 RPM and you floor it, it's like a rocket compared to what it used to be. It does feel almost as fast as my WRX. I'm guessing it's somewhere around 200 horsepower. It probably is pulling timing, but I'm pretty confident with some fuel mods it could handle quite a bit more boost. So we'll see where we go with it in the future. I obviously am not in love with the car, but I do really like the power plant, and it's a lot of fun. Oh yeah, and I did get one more thing for it. So it doesn't have a wastegate dump right now, so you can see maybe the wastegate's right there, and it kind of just dumps onto the radiator, so there is sort of a little blackening happening on the radiator. Yeah, right there you can see a little bit, which is no big deal. Car hasn't been overheating, but obviously it'd be nicer to dump that, so I did buy just a stainless 90-degree elbow to weld to one of these wastegate dump flanges, and I also have a stainless flux core wire, which is really cool. I've been wanting to make a video on that for a while, so I finally bought a spool, so I'm going to be able to weld that stainless dump tube to one of those stainless flanges, put it on the wastegate, and then it'll just dump in a 90 straight down towards the ground. It sounds pretty awesome. It's nothing like as violent as like a 600 horsepower car with a wastegate, but it does sound pretty cool when the screamer pipe opens. And I think with the dump tube going down, you'll actually hear it a little better instead of it shooting forward in the car, because obviously most of those sound waves are going to be canceled. So even that was like $8. So again, I think I'm looking at a budget of like $530. Yeah, right around $530, even with that fuel rail outlet, the dump tube, and the MAF adapter. So still an awesome budget build. Oh, and I bought some paint to just paint this up so it's black. This had it out in the rain for like 5 minutes the other day, and this rusted up like right away. So did the manifold, but WD-40 makes it look better, even though it'll smoke when I first start it up. I did put a little rubber tube around this so the stainless line doesn't rub through that, which is totally fine. But yeah, overall, I'm still really happy and impressed with this thing. I still love the massive intercooler and air filter. And I hope you all want to see a little bit more on it, because there is going to be a little bit more to come, but there's also going to, of course, be a big focus on the GSX, which I know a lot of my older subscribers will be really happy about. So hope you guys enjoy this Patreon update. I have been thinking about some polls I can kind of give in the future that will be sort of up to you guys to decide, maybe even some parts purchases. But as always, I welcome any of your input about the channel, about the projects, about what you'd like to see on Patreon. I know I haven't been keeping up with it as well as I should. I was really busy this month with the $500 Turbo Car Challenge, and before that I was just trying to ramp back up. I also have coverage from Wicked Big Meat, so hopefully some of you will want to see that. And I'm just trying to stay really busy, and right now that's been busy helping my family fix their cars, but also it needs to be busy working on YouTube. So big video coming on this whole project, by the way. I forgot to mention that I actually have filmed the entire process largely in time lapse, so that'll be one big video on turbocharging a car for $500. You know, it'll probably be one of those in 10 minutes videos, so hopefully that'll be exciting. Thank you so much to all of you for supporting me and 802 Garage. It means the world. You really are kind of keeping this alive right now, because without you I would have been well behind money-wise for several months now, and it's just been barely keeping me afloat, and things are looking up a little bit now, and I still need to bust ass on the channel to make it more successful and make more money, but I really appreciate you all, and like I said, talk to me anytime, hit me up on social media, comments, whatever it is. Thank you so much, Patreon supporters. Catch y'all very soon on 802 Garage.